Just gotten in after a long day of travel. I left St. Louis at 9 in the morning, and now it is about the equivalent of 10 p.m., according to my brain when I woke up. So I'm feeling quite sleepy, and I was thinking on my way home about all the jet lag and the tiredness and the exhaustion of just like even traveling for a vacation. I don't know if you feel this way, but whenever I travel on a plane, I'm always just so tired when I get back. Even if I'm coming back from somewhere that's restful or I'm going somewhere that's exhausting. And I was thinking about both feeling jet lagged and about what I do to relax when I'm feeling like tense. And I thought about those two kind of thoughts intersected at my favorite book, Pattern Recognition. It's a novel by William Gibson. It's sort of the first of a series of like not particularly sci-fi books that he wrote, and it's my favorite of both his works, and I think in general right now it's one of my favorite books, if not my absolute favorite. So what I was thinking is, and I know it's not like a traditional vlog and I'm not really talking about myself or whatever, but I was thinking what might be nice would be both to kind of help myself calm down from the chaos of my trip and also to share something that I love with you. I thought I might read some of it to you. The chapters are quite short, so I think the first chapter would be vlog length. If you're watching this video and you have it full screened or you're tabbed in, you probably won't get much from me this time around, right? This vlog is going to be audio primarily, so you can alt tab, you can do something else, you can have this vlog running while you're cleaning your house or whatever. I won't be personally offended by it. But if you want to watch me read, that's something you can do too, I guess, if you're into it. So yeah, I'm going to read the first chapter of Pattern Recognition by William Gibson. Go right here. Chapter 1. The Website of Dreadful Night. 5 hours New York jet lag, and Case Pollard wakes in Camden Town to the dire and ever-circling wolves of disrupted circadian rhythm. It is that flat and spectral non-hour awash in limbic tides, brainstem stirring fitfully, flashing inappropriate reptilian demands for sex, food, sedation, all of the above and none really an option now. Not even food, as Damien's new kitchen is devoid of edible content as its designers display windows in Camden High Street. Very handsome, the upper cabinets faced in canary yellow laminate, the lower with lacquered, unstained apple ply. Very clean and almost entirely empty, save for a carton containing 2 dry pucks of Weetabix and some loose packets of herbal tea. Nothing at all in the German fridge, so new that its interior smells only of cold and long-chain monomers. She knows, now absolutely, hearing the white noise that is London, that Damien's theory of jet lag is correct. That her mortal soul is leagues behind her, being reeled in on some ghostly umbilical down the vanished wake of the plane that brought her here, hundreds of thousands of feet above the Atlantic. Souls can't move that quickly, and are left behind and must be awaited upon arrival like lost luggage. She wonders if this gets gradually worse with age, the nameless hour deeper, more null, its effect at once stranger, less interesting. Numb here in the semi-dark in Damien's bedroom, beneath a silvery thing the color of oven mitts, probably never intended by its makers to actually be slept under. She'd been too tired to find a blanket. The sheets, between her skin and the weight of this industrial coverlet, are silky, some luxurious thread count, and they smell faintly of, she guesses, Damien. Not badly, though. Actually, it's not unpleasant. Any physical linkage to a fellow mammal seems a plus at this point. Damien is a friend. Their boy-girl Lego doesn't click, he would say. Damien is 30, Case 2 years older. But there's some carefully insulated module of immaturity in him, some shy and stubborn thing that frightened the money people. Both have been very good at what they've done, neither seeming to have the least idea why. Google Damien, and you'll find a director of music videos and commercials. Google Case, and you'll find Cool Hunter, and if you look closely, you may see it suggested that she's a sensitive of some kind. A dowser in the world of global marketing. Though the truth, Damien would say, is closer to allergy, a morbid and sometimes violent reactivity to the semiotics of the marketplace. Damien's in Russia now, avoiding renovation and claiming to be shooting a documentary. Whatever faintly lived-in feel the place now has, Case knows, is the work of a production assistant. She rolls over, abandoning this pointless parody of sleep, gropes for her clothes, A small boy's black Fruit of the Loom t-shirt, thoroughly shrunken, a thin gray v-neck pullover purchased by the half dozen from a supplier to New England prep schools, and a new and oversized pair of black 501s, every trademark carefully removed. Even the buttons on these have been ground flat, featureless, by a puzzled Korean locksmith in the village a week ago. The switch on Damien's Italian floor lamp feels alien, a different click, designed to hold back a different voltage. Foreign British electricity. Standing now, stepping into her jeans, she straightens, shivering. Mirror world. The plugs on appliances are huge, triple-pronged for a species of current that only powers electric chairs in America. Cars are reversed, left to right. Inside, telephone handsets have a different weight, a different balance. The covers of paperbacks look like Australian money. Pupils contracted painfully against a sun-bright halogen. She squints into an actual mirror, canted against a gray wall awaiting hanging, wherein she sees a black-legged, disjointed puppet, sleep hair poking up like a toilet brush. She grimaces at it, thinking for some reason of a boyfriend who'd insisted on comparing her to Helmut Newton's nude portrait of Jane Birkin. In the kitchen, she runs tap water through a German filter into an Italian electric kettle, fiddles with switches, one on the kettle, one on the plug, one on the socket, blankly surveys the canary expanse of laminated cabinetry while it boils. Bags of some imported Californian tea substitute in a large white mug, pouring boiling water. In the flat's main room, she finds Damien's faithful cube is on, but sleeping, the nightlight glow of its static switches pulsing gently. Damien's ambivalence towards design showing here. He won't allow decorators through the door unless they basically agree to not do that which they do, yet he holds onto this Mac for the way you can turn it upside down, remove its innards with a little magic aluminum handle. Like the sex of one of his robot girls in his video, now that she thinks of it. She seats herself in his high-backed workstation chair and clicks the transparent mouse. Stutter of infrared on the pale wood of the long trestle table. The browser comes up. She types fetish, footage, forum, which Damien, determined to avoid contamination, will never bookmark. The front page opens, familiar as a friend's living room. A frame grab from number 48 serves as the backdrop, dim and almost monochrome, no characters in view. This is one of the sequences that generates comparisons with Tarkovsky. She only knows Tarkovsky from stills, really, though she did once fall asleep during a screening of The Stalker. Though, going under on an endless pan, the camera aims straight down in close-up at a puddle on a ruined mosaic floor. But she's not one of those who think that much will be gained by analysis of the maker's imagined influences. The cult of the footage is rife with subcults, claiming every possible influence. Truffaut, Peckinpah, the Peckinpah people, among the least likely, are still waiting for the guns to be drawn. She enters the forum itself now, automatically scanning titles of the posts and names of posters in the newer threads, looking for friends, enemies, news. One thing is clear, though, no new footage has surfaced. Nothing since that beach pan, and she doesn't subscribe to the theory that it is Cannes in winter. French footage heads have been unable to match it, in spite of countless hours recording pans across approximately similar scenery. She also sees that her friend Parkaboy is back in Chicago, home from an Amtrak vacation, California. But when she opens his post, she sees he's only saying hello, literally. She clicks respond, declares herself Case P. Hi, Parkaboy. NT. When she returns to the forum page, her post is there. It is a way, now, approximately, of being at home. The forum has become one of the most consistent places in her life, like a familiar cafe that exists somehow outside geography and beyond time zones. There are perhaps 20 regular posters on FFF, and some much larger and uncounted number of lurkers. And right now there are 3 people in chat. There's no way of knowing exactly who until you're in there, and the chat room she finds not so comforting. It's strange, even with friends, like sitting in a pitch-dark cellar conversing with people at a distance of about 15 feet. The hectic speed and the brevity of the lines in the thread, plus the feeling everyone is talking at once at counter purposes, deter her. The cube sighs softly and makes subliminal sounds with its drive, like a vintage sports car downshifting on a distant freeway. She tries a sip of tea substitute, but it's still too hot. A gray and indeterminate light is starting to suffuse the room in which she sits, revealing such Damiania as has survived the recent remake. Partially disassembled robots are propped against one wall. 2 of them torsos and heads like elfin, decidedly female crash test dummies. They are effects units from one of Damien's videos, and she wonders, given her mood, why she finds them so comforting. Probably because they're genuinely beautiful, she decides. Optimistic expressions of the feminine, no sci-fi kitsch for Damien. Dreamlike things in the dawn half-light. their small breasts gleaming, white plastic shining faint as old marble. Personally fetishistic, though. She knows he'd had them molded from the body cast of his last girlfriend. -2. Hotmail downloads 4 messages, none of which she feels like opening. Her mother, 3 spam. The penis enlarger is still after her, twice, and increase your breast size dramatically. Deletes the spam, sips the tea substitute, and watches the gray light becoming more like day. Eventually, she goes into Damien's newly renovated bathroom, feels she could shower down in it prior to visiting a sterile NASA probe, or step out of some Chernobyl scenario to have her lead suit removed by rubber-gowned Soviet technicians, who then scrub her with long-handled brushes. The fixtures in the shower can be adjusted with elbows, preserving the sterility of scrubbed hands. She pulls off her sweater and t-shirt and, using hands, not elbows, starts the shower and adjusts the temperature. 4 hours later, she's on a reformer in a Pilates studio in an upscale alley called Neil's Yard, and the car and driver from Blue Ant are waiting out on whatever street it is. The reformer is a very long, very low, vaguely ominous, and Weimar-looking piece of spring-loaded furniture, on which she now reclines doing V position against the footrail at the end. The padded platform she rests on wheels back and forth along tracks of angle iron within the frame, springs twanging softly. 10 of these, 10 toes, 10 from the heels. In New York, she does this at a fitness center, frequented by dance professionals, but here in Neil's Yard, this morning, she seems to be the sole client. The place has only recently opened, apparently, and perhaps this sort of thing is not yet so popular here. There is that mirror world ingestion of archaic substances, she thinks. People smoke and drink as though it were good for you, and seem to still be in some sort of honeymoon phase with cocaine. Heroin, she's read, is cheaper now than it's ever been, here, the market glutted by the initial dumping of Afghani opium supplies. Done with her toes, she changes to heels, craning her neck to be certain her feet are correctly aligned. She likes Pilates because she believes that it isn't, in the way she thinks of yoga, meditative. You have to keep your eyes open, pay attention. The concentration counters the anxiety she feels now, the pre-job jitters she hasn't experienced in a while. She's here on Blue Ant's ticket, relatively tiny in terms of permanent staff, globally distributed, more post-geographic than multinational. The agency has from the beginning billed itself as high-speed, low-drag life form in an advertising ecology of lumbering herbivores. Or perhaps some non-carbon-based life form, eternally sprung from the smooth and ironic brow of its founder, Hubertus Big End. A nominal Belgian who looks like Tom Cruise on a diet of virgin's blood and truffled chocolates. The only thing Case enjoys about Big End is that he seems to have no sense at all that his name might be ridiculous to anyone ever. Otherwise, she'd find him even more unbearable than she already does. It's entirely personal, though at one remove. She's still doing heels and checks her watch, a Korean clone of an old-school Casio G-Shock, its plastic case sanded free of logos with a scrap of Japanese micro-abrasive. She's due in Blue Ant Soho's office in 50 minutes. She drapes a pair of limp green foam pads over the footrail, carefully positions her feet, lifts them on invisible stiletto heels, and begins her 10 prehensile. And that's chapter 1 of Pattern Recognition by William Gibson. One of my favorite books. It's right up there with Dune. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm feeling much calmer now. So I'm going to take advantage of it. I'm going to unpack and brush my teeth and climb into bed, and I will see you again tomorrow. Good night, everybody.